Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Hall podcast. Our next series of 4 podcasts were filmed live at our Union Hall during a Myra event, so you'll hear some background noise associated with those episodes. Today's episode 10, is with Joe Bagri from Canadian Building Trades Unions.
We're here with Joe Bagri from Canadian Building Trades Unions. How are you today, Joe?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
What's your role with the Canadian Building Trades Unions?
So my role with the Canadian Building Trades Unions, I'm the project manager for the Western region of Canada, and I'm here to support our new initiative, which is the Apprentice Services Program, CBTU in the trades.
Yeah.
And we are a federally funded program that has $50 million across Canada to help support first-year apprentices and contractors connect.
Nice.
And there's financial incentives for contractors and training incentives for apprentices who go through and accept our funding process.
And so what's your area of operations?
So I'm based out of British Columbia.
Okay.
I actually live in Cloverdale.
Yeah.
But my team, I have team members in Alberta and BC as well.
Yeah.
Our team is actually a national team, so we have our East team, as we call it,
Yep.
based out of Ottawa and all the Atlantic provinces, and we're here to help facilitate this program.
So you guys have a slice of that money that you're looking to allocate to...
Exactly. And so the way the financial incentives work is that any contractor that's unionized, as soon as they take on a first-year apprentice in one of the eligible trades,
Yep.
all that information is available online. You receive $5,000 for bringing on and onboarding that first-year apprentice.
Yep.
Now, if that apprentice is with a deserving equity group, such as people of color, Indigenous folks, people from the LGBTQ community, disabled folks, newcomers to Canada, they would fit into that category, and then an additional $5,000 is given to the contractor.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a great program. Our program, we take a lot of pride in the seamlessness of our program.
Yeah.
From start to finish, if the contractor has the apprentice and they're have all their ducks in a row,
Yeah.
this process usually takes anywhere between 12 and 17 minutes to complete.
Oh, great.
And one of the great things that separates us from a lot of the other apprentice services program intermediaries that deliver this program and this funding as well is that we have a connection with SkillPlan. So we've partnered with SkillPlan in this program, and we offer 2 courses. One is based on mentorship, the other one is diversity and inclusion.
Yep.
And so those courses are required by the apprentice, the new apprentice, to complete. Once the apprentice has completed those courses are uploaded to the application, and then after that, 2 to 3 weeks, the contractor receives their financial grant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it's not a bunch of hoops to jump through to
No.
get the worker on-site working and to get the contractor
Yes,
incentivized.
exactly. We've done the best that we can to mitigate how many hoops contractors have to jump in. Our
Yep.
program was built and designed for unionized contractors.
Yep.
So we're very familiar with how the union training centers work, how the apprenticeship programs work in each of our provinces. And so we've created this program to be kind of seamless
Yep.
and working with our local union partners to get the messaging out, and hopefully the momentum builds up and more folks take advantage of this program, because ultimately contractors and apprentices will benefit from this.
Yeah. So does this contract have a shelf life, or you got a timeline to
Absolutely. So
spend this money?
the contract end date will be in 2024. So
Okay.
I believe the contract end date is June of 2024.
Okay.
And we look at this as 2 fiscal years. So a contractor can take 2 apprentices up to March 31st, 2023.
Yep.
And they can take 2 more for a year later after that, or till the end of the program, which is
Yep.
June 2024. So, I mean, hypothetically speaking, a contractor could receive up to $40,000
Yep.
in the lifetime of this program. And that's non-taxable. There's no reporting about how the contractor allocates their funds.
Yep.
It's up to the contractor how they use and disperse the grant money. There's no tenure for how long the contractor has to keep the apprentice. We're in a trades environment. A lot of the work that we do is project-based work.
Yep.
So it would be ill-advised to tell the contractor that they have to keep this apprentice for a year if there's no work for the apprentice to do.
Yep.
The fantastic part is when an apprentice is ultimately completed a project, they have the opportunity to go back to their home local,
Yep.
get back dispatched out to a new contractor.
Yep.
And a fantastic part about our program is that once they go to a new contractor and they're still a first-year apprentice, that new contractor is eligible for this funding as well. And now that the apprentice has completed the skill plan courses, it's an even quicker process.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of value to it. And previously, I used to be a training coordinator with the Operating Engineers Local 115.
Okay. Yeah.
I was there for 4 years, and historically, one of the hardest parts of my job was dispatching first-year apprentices.
Yeah.
And a lot of the feedback I would get from industry and contractors is, Joe, it's really hard to take a first-year apprentice. They're new to the trade. We're really busy right now, and we can't afford that loss.
Yeah.
Well, now this program is here to try to mitigate some of that. And here's an incentive to take on a first-year apprentice, and it's an opportunity for them to get linked up with a good union sponsor.
When they can use the funds how they see fit. So that's helping tool up for the apprentice to have tools on the job site, or
Absolutely.
or that money is used to offset wage, right? The contractor's in business to make money. Of course.
Exactly.
And so they're looking to get, X amount of rate per man hour worked, if you will, right? So, you're bringing someone in that's fresh to the trades. They're new. They don't know their way around the job site. Some maybe work better than others, but if you can say, hey, I'm bringing this guy in at, whatever their union wage is for their first term apprentice, if they could throw, if they use that money and take $5 an hour or whatever, that goes a stretch.
Absolutely.
And by the time that money's used up, that apprentice is valuable, and they're kind of in the system, right?
Exactly.
So
They're a valuable asset to their organization, and the organization was able to offset some of that cost because of this program, which is amazing. And also the additional training that Skill Plan provides. So once they take these 2 courses that are a part of the program eligibility, they're also open to a suite of other programs that Skill Plan offers. And one of the ones that really sticks out to me is money matters and financial planning. These apprentices, these careers that they're choosing can be quite lucrative. And if you don't have a plan in mind of how you're going to use your money, the money that you've worked and earned, it could be a bit daunting. And so Skill Plan has courses for money management. How do apprentices use their money now that they're making? How to invest your money? How do you save it? And then there's also for test anxiety. I mean, there's a reason why folks get into the trades is because they're visual learners. And when they have to take tests, they get test anxiety, and it's not like a post-secondary approach. But there's courses that Skill Plan offers around test anxiety and how to mitigate that, and IP prepping and preparedness and anxiety and how to squash that before you go take a test. So there's so much value in learning, and being tradespeople, we are lifelong learners, and having a group like Skill Plan there to facilitate some of that learning and show the suite of opportunities that they have for learning it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, no, it sounds incredible. How are you seeing a large influx of contractors taking advantage of it? Like, when did this roll out?
So officially we rolled out September 21st was like our official launch date in Jasper, Alberta. And to be honest, it was a little bit slow because it's government funding. Folks aren't aware of how simple this process is, and some folks can be apprehensive. I mean, a passport lineup could take you 4 hours. So when they hear government funding, there's obviously some apprehension involved.
Yeah,
but
people just think it's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. And once they do it and they realize how simple the process is, then it's word of mouth. Hey, we did this, it worked. And then some of the testimonials that we're getting back on how contractors are using this money are absolutely fantastic. Like, I won't name names of the contractor, but they have, for years, they've been doing tours at their facility with local high schools and communities. And they've been fitting that cost on their own. So every year they'll have high school students come through their facility, learn about their specific trade, why it's a good trade to get into. And now they have this financial incentive where they've brought on a new apprentice, they've garnered this grant, and now they're going to use that money to help bring in even more students to give them trade awareness. So, I mean, you're getting them at a granular level. They're young, fresh talent, wants to learn what to do with their life. And trades historically has been shunned because it doesn't seem like the sexy thing to do. But it is a lucrative thing to do. And
it's fastly that that narrative is changing, right?
100%.
And people see now more than ever with the working demographic changing, people retiring, coming out of COVID and stuff. You're seeing all of a sudden this huge void in the workforce where we need workers in every trade. The skilled building trades, like, everyone is looking for new members, and it's a viable option, right?
For sure.
And it's being promoted now, based on the work you guys are doing, and the unions have their own colleges and stuff. Everyone's pushing, like, hey, this is an option for everyone, and it's not even just an option for young people coming out of high school. It's an option for people that maybe they're looking for a career change, or the career they got into hasn't really led them anywhere or whatever, right? So
absolutely. And the thing is, as lifelong learners, I mean, you're never too old to get into an apprenticeship. That's the best part about it. I mean, there's folks, the average age for an apprenticeship I heard last was 28. So there's no cap on when you want to try something else and learn something new and develop a craft, because ultimately that skill set you can be taught. and you can train. Eventually, you'll be able to pay it back and teach somebody else what you've learned through your career. And it's that bridging of the minds and that really that mentorship apprenticeship approach, which is what was very appealing to me. And my background is in apprenticeships, facilitating apprenticeships. And I was an apprentice a long time ago. I was a diesel engine mechanic apprentice for many years, and it was what led me to where I am now. So,
well, I was in Ottawa, or in June of this year. I was in Ottawa for the Canadian Building Trades Unions conference, and listening to the programs, the work they're doing with the industry, and the projections of work. Like they're trying to poise the unions to have access to as much work as they can, and they're advocating hard for it. And just seeing some of the projects coming up across Canada and the labor force required for that, seeing this initiative is one step towards
filling those numbers.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what, another approach to look at this is it's an ability to diversify your workforce. You know what I mean? With the skilled labor shortage that everybody is feeling, and the large amount of projects, specifically in BC in mind, of how much infrastructure projects we got going on, commercial projects that we got going on, you need to start looking outside the box for talent. Normally, they know what the demographic of people who are sought after for trades are all working.
Yes.
And so now we need to think about outside the box and how to diversify the workforce, train our people so that good Canadians get good Canadian jobs, and then it progresses, and then they could have that advantage, and then the younger generation can see that trades are a viable option. And who knows, the next leap in trades could be from a youth that hasn't even been in the trade yet.
Yeah. It's we're seeing more and more that it's not a generational. You're having people come into the trades that it wasn't like their father or their mother was a tradesperson. They're kind of first generation tradesperson, right? But they see. I think there's a lot, with communication, social media, the stuff now. There's more access to information, and people see what a journey person, say pipe fitter in our world. They see kind of income they make and the benefits they have, and they're like, no, that's a career.
No,
right?
absolutely.
It's not a blue collar job. It's a career.
It's a career.
And so people are, especially the younger people, they're educated, and there's obviously the union representation, there's all that kind of stuff, but they're looking at options, right? And they're doing the, if you will, the math in their head. They're
of
going,
course.
okay, I go to university, I do this, I want to be this, or I could go down this road and I could learn a trade. And I talk to lots of young people. I said, you learn a trade, you get your red seal. That's not the end.
No.
You're going to continue learning.
That's the beginning.
You're going to continue your education. And, maybe 10 years down the road, you find yourself down a whole different path. You still have that red seal. That's
right.
not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Right? So that's your new minimum wage, right? And I know the journeyperson wages right now are pretty good. And
That's
we're,
right.
We're looking to get them higher, of course, with inflation and stuff like that across
That's right.
Canada. But it's an option, and it's a good option.
And the difference between trades workers and folks that don't work in the industry that we do is that we have the tangible evidence of what we've done in a day. When you're working in the construction sector, you have the pride of looking at what you did in a day and an honest day's work, and you get to go home and you get to have that satisfaction of what you've done in a day. And then if you're fortunate enough to work on a legacy project 30, 40 years down the road, when you have kids or grandkids, you drive by one of the bridges that you worked on, you get to be one of the people who say, hey, I built this bridge. I got to work on this bridge. And that's something that you get to carry long after you're no longer here. And that's the benefit, because accountants don't get to do that. Accountants don't get to do that kind of stuff. Web developers, I don't think they get to do that kind of stuff. But folks that work with their hands and are positively contributing to our communities, they get to have advantages of legacy projects like that.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing now some of the big projects, like say the LNG in Kitimat, and some of these big projects going on in our province, that on the tail end of that, there's going to be service contracts awarded that to support that, right? And so it's not like the work scope ends at the last flange being bolted up, right? It's going to continue on with shutdowns and service.
Absolutely.
And right now it's never been a better opportunity for someone to get into the trades,
especially the youth. I mean, if you think about it, if you and everybody has quick access to calculators on their phones, you get into an apprenticeship when you're 20 and you start building your pension. By the time you're 40, which goes by really quick, you have a healthy pension. You have a craft under your belt that no one can take from you, and you're constantly developing and improving who you are. And like you said, that might be where you start, but that might not be where you finish.
No,
and that's why a program like ours, getting new apprentices in with good union sponsors, being able to develop their skills, their craft, and their confidence as community members, is ultimately a benefit for everybody.
Do you know how many different trades are taking advantage of this program?
So we service in our program 39 different trades.
Okay.
And it's a full gamut. All of our information is available on our website, which is buildingtrades.ca/in-the-trades.
Okay.
And it'll break down all the different unions that we're working with and all the different trades that we're servicing and how folks in those trades can take advantage.
So if a contractor listening to this goes, yeah, I want to jump on this and
Yep.
I want to take advantage of this money that's available, the website is the best place for them to access that?
Absolutely, because the website has all the information, but it also has a frequently asked questions page.
Okay.
And those questions are directly from contractors in the field.
Yeah.
And so we took the best questions that we had, we put it on our website, because 90% of the contractors have the same questions.
Yeah.
So you'll have an ability to ask those questions, answer those questions, and link right onto the registration page.
Yeah.
And the registration can be as easy as registering an email address.
Yeah.
And then once you go through the steps of registering and you sign the sub-agreement, which is basically saying that the Canadian Building Trades Unions is going to be delivering these funds on behalf of the government,
Yep.
and you've signed that,
Yep.
then it's basically whenever you get your apprentice, you're ready to go.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a seamless process. I encourage everybody to go to our website, buildingtrades.ca/in-the-trades, and all of our information is there.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joe. That was a lot of information. Incredible program. Like if I was a contractor, that's free money on the table.
100%.
Let's take advantage of that. Use that to, get new people into the workforce. And everyone can use a first-year apprentice, right?
Yes.
And if you can benefit from a little bit of funding to help with that, maybe that's the push the contractor needs to go, you know what, yeah, we'll hire another person, right?
For sure.
And give them an opportunity to get into the workforce and benefit
absolutely.
like we all have.
Absolutely. This is a great program to be a part of. I feel very blessed that I get to have an impact on a national level, promote this program, and help people get a part of this program.
Yep.
And so it truly is a great opportunity for myself, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast.
Yeah, well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Bye.